town you never heard of. Hey everybody, welcome to the Common Folk Podcast with Ben, Morgan, and Andy.
All right, welcome back to Common Folk.
That's right. The podcast for the people, by the people.
Get the man a drink over there.
I feel like
I got something. I brought something.
you know
Oh.
he does. You know he
No,
does. What
but
you
I'm
got?
like, I feel like we always talk about drinks, but he's empty-handed.
Oh, I brought something in honor of today.
Oh,
Let's do
shit.
it.
It was time to
Let's
get
do
after,
it.
right? So
What do we got?
What do you got?
right there,
Oh,
real American beer.
Hold on,
Stop
I've
it.
seen
Yeah.
Is that a
this.
thing?
Is that Hulk Hogan's beer?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It
What?
is.
He has his own beer?
Hogan
Yeah,
is.
he just toured last week.
Yeah.
Bearded Vet hung out with him a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah, he did, yeah.
Papillion.
You better believe it.
Crack
Yeah.
that sucker.
Yeah.
I want
Are
to
you
try
kidding
that
me?
bad boy.
Yeah.
Let me take a
Are
picture
you
of this
kidding me
shit.
right now,
It's
Andy?
Where'd you get this?
Hy-Vee.
Not.
He toured Hy-Vee, Hulk Hogan did, in Iowa and Nebraska last week. And it was a pretty hot commodity. The one in Lincoln, they had to settle at 300 cases of beer, and they were pre-sold out for all the fans that were in line to get pictures and get an autograph. So I kind of lucked out getting that 12-pack.
That tops your freaking Twisted Tea
Yeah.
Corona, my cider.
Let me look at this real quick. So it's called Real American Beer.
Mm-hmm.
And on the side it says,
What does it say?
America is at its best when united.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's one thing we can all agree on, it's the simple pleasure of sharing a beer.
There you go.
That's why we started Real American Beer, to bring together one beer,
Dude,
to bring together people,
Hulk Hogan's a man of the people.
one beer at a time.
Yeah, I mean,
and then Hulk Hogan, there's a signature right there.
yeah,
Stop. Let me see this. What does it taste like, Andy?
I like it. It tastes like a light beer.
How many you got?
Okay.
Let me get one. Morgan's got mine.
No, we'll
want-
share.
You're gonna
no,
drink
we're
it,
not
you
taking,
said.
No, but we're not going to
I
take
got-
Andy's.
I got
He only got
plenty.
a 12-pack.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, okay.
All right, here we go.
That's fine.
You didn't
I'll
even
just take
tell
a
us
swig.
about this when you showed up
No,
tonight.
Well, I thought he wasn't drinking or something. He had to go pick up kids.
You.
But I was going to razz you on that.
That, hey, boy.
There you go.
Good or no?
Let's see what's up.
I mean, I think it's good.
Do you think you're going to grow some hair? Doesn't Hulk Hogan have hair? No, he shaves.
I have started to replace
He
it.
shaves.
Hulk's a blonde.
Yeah, so, does that mean he doesn't have hair?
Yeah, it does mean that. I mean, you were married to one, so.
You do have some hair.
Yeah, but not much. Not much.
No, I think it tastes like a light craft
yeah.
beer.
Wait, but who's
Not
this?
bad.
Oh, it
Not
says
bad.
I like
brewed in the USA.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
course
so
it
who
is.
does this?
He does.
Are we talking
Hulk Hogan?
at his house?
And here's the thing.
I meant where's the brewery?
We're about to talk about voting and politics, and like this is
Andy set this shit up.
So we have this Real American light beer. Do we even care what's going on with it? No. All we care about is, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan.
Stars
let's
and stripes.
Go.
You can't get a more patriotic can
Let's
than this.
freaking
you know what I mean?
go, man.
Not at all.
What do you think of that? Did you try it, Dan?
I did. It's good.
Who's this guy?
This is my buddy named Dan.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you
Hello.
think? What do you think, Dano?
No, overall, the first taste, pretty good. There's a...
Little aftertaste.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I thought you were going to say.
And-
That's what
I
gives
can't-
me that, like a little malty. That's what reminds me of a craft beer. A little bit. That's my take.
Oh, there's a little at the
Yeah,
end.
a little. I think it tastes like a malt, like a little bit
Oh,
of a
God.
pilsner.
Like a
Just give me
lager?
one.
Like
will
a
ya?
lager
Then
or
I can
something?
just partake in this fun.
There's kind of a
There you go.
lager.
But Andy,
There you go.
I feel like we need to get you some in return because these are so iconic.
It's
We're
the real
keeping
deal.
this can too.
It's the real deal.
Andy
Yeah.
came in with the out of left field. You got the
Yeah.
Real American beers.
You
Good
didn't
call,
even
man. Good
tell
call.
the audience that freaking Hulk Hogan is on the damn can. Like his muscle body
Yeah.
there's a picture of him.
Waving the American flag. I said you can't get a more patriotic can than this, So
Yeah.
When you first pulled it out, it almost reminded me of like Schlitz a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, you're
Coming out,
right.
like, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I got the perfect beer, and I'm like, oh, the Schlitz. Okay,
I was thinking it is like it's like a blend of old Milwaukee Light
Yes.
and old Milwaukee,
Yes.
just the red can. If you combine the two, then throw a little Schlitz mix in
I don't know
there.
what Schlitz
Maybe they're
is.
playing off of that.
I think so,
Yeah.
or something. I mean, it looks like just good old American beer that your dad was drinking, after he
100%.
got in from fishing with the guys or whatever. That's what I had to clean out of the boat.
After he was out saving America.
That's right. Yeah.
And like freaking just bringing home
Yeah.
bringing home the bacon.
All right. Yeah.
When he got done bringing home the bacon,
Yeah.
this
And
is what
that's it.
he was cracking.
Right there. Yeah. And then to watch the Packers game, this is what he was drinking.
So basically, the rest of this conversation, folks know what direction we're going.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So where are we going with this combo?
So a couple of quick things. One, DanO.
Mm-hmm.
That's our camera company we're working with right now.
Yep.
The research that we're doing with them, everything's looking great. We're having a good time with them.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to encourage folks to do is check out the links on the podcast. Click on those links. It takes you to our affiliation with them. If you're going to order one there.
Mm-hmm.
The code is farm focused, one word, FOCUSED. That gets you 10% off. DanO is a really cool surveillance camera company.
Mm-hmm.
You can use them for game cams, surveillance cams. You have cellular connectivity. You have solar power. You have all the different things
Right.
you want to choose from.
Yep.
It's a great setup. So we're enjoying that. So I just want to share that with folks so that they don't forget about DanO.
Mm-hmm.
barnowl.tech. Second thing, on the Farm Focused website, so I keep saying this, FOCUSED, so Farm Focused. You go on there right now. If you buy a Farm Focused sweater, so that's going to be a crew neck, a hoodie, whatever, you look for that,
Okay.
you're going to get a free bag of coffee.
Boom.
Oh, yes. I did
That's your
see that.
favorite
I did
coffee,
see that.
Andy.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And I got requests
And
for that.
it's that time of year.
It is.
It's that
It
time
is.
of year.
Yep.
And then I'm going to share a little secret with you.
Oh.
If you use code CommonFolk, you will also get a discount. So you can get a discount and a free bag of
Wait,
coffee.
that's cheating.
It is cheating, but I'm just sharing that with
All right.
the Common Folk
Wow.
listeners right now.
Okay.
Okay.
So go to farmfocus.com, type in Common Folk as the.
As the
Code.
code,
Wow.
at checkout, if you put that in the code,
Okay.
you get a sweet discount,
All right.
20%.
Okay.
But you also get a free bag of coffee if you have a crew neck sweatshirt or a hoodie in your cart.
In your cart. Mm-hmm. Just throw that in the side.
The discount is dumb.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know.
you-
Who's making money here? Anybody?
Nobody.
Yeah, we're not.
The fuck?
Nobody.
We've successfully run this podcast for 3 years, and we don't.
And we ran it right into the ground.
Yeah, like we're just like stuck.
Yeah. So
No,
that's
No,
Perfect.
use the codes. Come
All
on,
right.
people.
There we go.
so that's that. Boom. Moving on. So tonight, this is election eve,
Yes, I like that.
right?
That just gears it up.
It's election eve.
But is it really?
So, Andy, are you going to be able to get this thing out in the morning?
Yeah, well, yeah, no problem.
Okay, Andy's got it out in the morning. So when folks are listening, we're recording this on election eve. So you're going to be driving in your vehicle. You're going to be at your job. You're going to be doing your thing. You're going to be thinking about your vote. You're going to be thinking about the future of America. And tonight, we're talking about it.
You sound so serious, but I'm waiting for someone to laugh. Why am I the first one that's laughing?
Can you be serious?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, this is really serious.
Yeah, what is wrong? What's wrong? So, a buddy of mine. So, my buddy, we've been buddies for a long time. We've been, we chat about all kinds of things. But one of the things that we chat about is politics and just U.S. in general, the country in general. What direction are we going? All these kinds of things. We're always chatting about this. Me and my
Manufacturing, labor laws, all the good stuff.
all the things.
Okay.
Yeah, all the things. So me and my guy here. So I was like, dude, it's election eve. I need you to come out tonight. Let's chat about. We want to chat about voting.
Okay.
So let me tell you how we got here. So him and I are talking back and forth, we're talking about, the different ways to vote and so on and so forth. And he just came to this point where he was like, man, I don't think I'm going to vote. And I was like, okay, that's like, I'm super surprised by that based on all the conversations that we have had.
Yeah.
What do you mean? And then we have a little conversation back and forth. And then he eventually says, okay, I think I'm going to vote, but I'm only looking at like local races.
Okay.
So I said to him, I go, all right, let's have a conversation on the podcast about how and why people vote, how you come to that conclusion, and basically what this means for the country.
Yeah.
So here we are. We've got my buddy DanO. What's up, buddy?
Hey, bud.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You good? Yeah.
A lot better now with that beer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So he's got the real American beer. So out of everybody I know, this is the one guy who is more involved in looking at all of these things.
Right. Keeps his ear to the train track,
There you go.
Likes to know what's going on.
Yep. So the conversation I wanted to have a little bit tonight was about voting. How do you vote? How do you make the decision to vote? Do you vote? Do you not? Those kinds of, I just feel like, and I heard it 10 times on the radio today. I was in the truck for 4 hours today. So I kept hearing, get out to vote, like this is the thing you need to do, blah, blah, blah. And I'm constantly questioning in my mind, like, but why? Like what?
But why?
Right.
But
yeah,
why?
Right. What is the, like, why is that so important? Right? No, I got you, but I want you to, that's what I want you to talk about.
It sounds like a philosophical question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems quite obvious why.
So let's start there. Let's talk about voting. Do we vote? Do we not vote? Why? So what do you got? Because I feel like you got something.
Well, the way you phrase that and how people are coming at you, the reason why it's so important for you to vote is because they're telling you to support the cause that they're getting paid to chirp that message about, for the most part. Airtime, airspace, whether it's on the radio, television, whatever, it's so valuable and so scarce. So I wasn't going to vote until Cardi B told me, 2 days ago, Cardi B got up there. She had a teleprompter go out on her. I felt so bad, but luckily someone got her a cell phone. She just read the script. So after that compelling statement she made, and I always thought, like, if there's one person that we should look to,
it's her.
It's Cardi B.
I can see why that would be.
And I'm sure she just did that because she felt so compelled to all of a sudden getting into politics. So, yeah. So, I'm being a little, she
did.
She obviously got paid to say that, and she didn't even know what she was going to say when she got up there. So it made a complete ass of herself, and I thought the rally itself. But the way you phrased that, and the way I took it was, well, it's so important to these people because they're getting paid to push that. And there's so much on the line for the people that are paying them to say it, you know?
Yeah.
I thought J.D. Vance's blitz, they're calling it a blitz, media blitz these last few days, has been awesome. I love listening to that guy because he seems like just a guy. And he's, for a long time, Republicans there's a lot of topics that they wouldn't touch. And I think everyone's kind of getting backed into a corner where you have to now.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
If you want to get over this hump, if you want to do this, if you want to do that, I think taboos are kind of going out the window. And when he was talking about labor and how immigration has a lot to do with, crooked billionaires not wanting to pony up and pay for labor and take advantage, human traffic people basically for cheap labor.
Yeah.
You never heard that. You never heard that from a lot of guys before him on that side of the fence.
Yeah.
So I do feel like there's a shift going on, and I do feel that this is a pretty gosh darn important election, So
For sure.
And I think just the names I mentioned and how I mentioned there probably gives everyone a pretty good idea of which way I'm leaning.
Okay, so you said that. So have you voted yet?
No.
Are you going to vote?
Of course.
Okay.
So Andy's voting.
Okay.
You voting, Morgan?
Hell yeah, I'm voting tomorrow.
Okay. All right. So let's.
All right.
Well, duh. Why wouldn't I?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Go on.
when you guys do vote, do you feel like you did your patriotic duty? Because growing up, even in elementary, it seemed that it was pushed upon children, and I'll just use myself in this example, that, hey, this is your one patriotic thing that you can do as an American citizen, and put your effort in, and, you know, I did it. I voted in my lifetime. I'm 42, so I've voted, I think, 3 times in my lifetime so far. And every time I voted, I've walked out of there with just a sticker that said I voted. And after the election was over and the decision was decided, whether it was a Democrat or a Republican for the president nomination, I didn't feel like I got satisfaction out of it. I didn't feel different. I didn't feel like I was patriotic or contributing to my country. It was just me taking a number 2 pencil and circling in the circle on the ballot and then giving it to a person, and then that was it. And
So
What else did you want, though? Like, I don't get it.
Okay.
I guess I don't get it because I'm maybe too surface. Like, what did you want? Like a confetti to come out, or like
No, that's a good question.
Like, I don't get it, because to me, like, I walk in and I'm like, shit, I did it. Okay, I voted. Boom. It's just like taking the ACTs. I filled in the bubble. Boom. Did my best.
Yeah.
Walk out. That's it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't like think as like you two, I guess.
I think for me, previously in previously voting, not really understanding politics and more voting my feeling. Like, I was born in a conservative Christian family household. I'm going to vote Republican conservative down the line, and not doing my due diligence and seeing, okay, who are these nominees backed by?
Okay, just like following the path.
Yeah, following the path.
So let me ask you a quick question there. Let me stop you for a second. So what you're saying is that when you went into the voting booth and you had this card and you went down the line and you were like, boom, 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 I checking all these things that fit that conservative, Christian values, supposedly, right, of all those points. And then when it was done and you saw the elections, and then most likely you saw that what those folks were doing didn't necessarily forward those conservative Christian values that you were talking about. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, so then you're not feeling good about your vote.
Right. Was it basically like, I did what I was supposed to do. I did what I thought I was supposed to do, what I told I was supposed to do, but then I didn't see the results that I thought were going to come from that. Am I getting that right, or did I miss that?
Yeah. I would say that would be about 50% of going into the voting booth, and with the feeling and the intent in my mind, Trump, J.D. Vance, Kamala, Tim, whoever that you're voting for, even if I gave them my vote, the outcome always seems to be different. Like, and I can give you a million examples of that. I don't think we have time for it, but it just feels, I get frustrated because after the fact, it's like a letdown for myself personally, and I'm only speaking for myself.
Can I guess one? Sure. I'm going to guess one.
Sure.
Barack Obama ran on this change and hope thing and was talking about peace, and then the first thing he did, like literally the first thing he did, was send more troops to the Middle East. And you were thinking, okay, I thought we voted this guy in to like end war. He was talking about peace and change, and the first thing he does is send more troops overseas? Like, what the hell's going on here?
And the whole Democratic Party, if you think about it and go back in time, like that's a lot of what they run on, like, or the perception of that is we are against war. We don't want war, et cetera, et cetera. And it's always the Republicans, the war hawks. You know, you're going to vote Republican. We're going to have endless wars and this, that, and the other. And
they don't help.
You're absolutely right.
I mean, yeah. And if you look at like Dick Cheney, I think of that video where he's like in the bushes listening to. Do you know what video I'm talking about? He's like snarling. It's like, what the shit is this?
And so much of that has changed, right? Like,
yeah.
And this
he supports the other side now. He's campaigning for
Kamala.
For Kamala.
And this is what we're seeing in modern day politics is like the difference between the Democratic and the Republican Party. They're literally like flipping sides on things. And it's one of the most confusing things if you really pay attention to it.
But are they supposed to just stay tried and true? Like, doesn't?
Well, yeah. I mean,
What?
they should.
What?
Like, if they, but
like if
but
a
here's
candidate
the thing,
says they believe in this,
then they should
does
stick with it.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter that they're in the Republican Party, but maybe then they believed something that was more Democratic, but now they're
That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm
okay.
talking about is that on each side of the parties have like hard lines that they've taken throughout the years, throughout generations. And so many of those hard lines have gotten switched between the different sides. So now the other one's on that side, and now the other one's on this side.
Okay, so what? Example.
Well, here's what I think has happened more than anything. I think it's become extremes. And you're talking about hard lines.
Yeah.
Those are established, right? And then it's like, well, why does that have to be a line? Let's get even more extreme. Now I feel like a lot of really good Democrats they feel homeless right now. They're like, we're not for boys in girls sports. We're not for this shit. And then then the Republicans, they probably moved a little extreme too. I mean, I think it's pretty fair to say Donald Trump's a pretty extreme dude,
Yeah.
Just on the surface, But what I'm getting at is the line has moved so much so to where if Democrats are clear over here now pushing this DEI stuff and other things that really not a lot of, I would say the majority of people aren't for. And so you're left with Republicans that still at least are speaking I would say a little bit more common sense. I mean, I just feel like the line has just shifted so far left for the leftists. It's tough to really, I think get on board with.
So go ahead, DanO.
I was just going to say, if you look at Trump, and besides outside of J.D. Vance, Trump and the rest, so his crew, Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard has now come over, like a lot of these guys.
Kennedy.
Yep, Kennedy. Democrats.
Yeah.
He's
a Democrat lawyer.
Yes.
Environmental lawyer.
Yes. And you made a valid point. The Democrat Party has moved the goal line so much that now the Republican Party are accepting these individuals who, I don't want to say pose, but they're coming out and they're standing on conservative values or stands that we can relate to. But at the end of the day, they were still Democrats. So
Bill Maher is catching shit. Bill Maher is catching shit every which way right now for being not left enough, not being Democrat enough. And that's wild. He used to be really far out there. That's why he got a show on HBO and all those things, Well,
him and Jon Stewart. Like Jon Stewart, a couple times he'll go and do his little snippet on Comedy Central or what Apple TV or whatever he's on.
Yeah, Tony Hinchcliffe's back.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was actually really surprised to see him at that convention. To be completely honest with you,
It was pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, if you know who that individual is, he's a comedian, but he's got some other baggage that comes with him. And I just like sitting from a Republican conservative, a point of view. This wouldn't be the individual that I would have at this convention.
Right. I mean, he's a roaster. I mean, and the Tom Brady roast. A lot of people have seen that.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he came at everybody and hard. Like he was going 100, and he did it at the convention too. So, but Jon Stewart, I feel like that was a hardcore. What his principle is believing in free speech. Okay, so this is a comedian. He's up there to entertain and crack jokes. And it doesn't matter if it offends you. if you don't think it's funny, he still has a right to say it.
Yes.
And say whatever he wants to say.
Okay, so I'm thinking, do we not all, exclude Ben, do you guys cheer for a team, a football team? Yes or no? Yes, you have a team, right?
Yeah.
Do you love everything about that person and that team? Yes or no?
No, they suck.
So you still
All
cheer
my
for
teams
them,
suck.
and you still root for them. It's not any different. Y'all are taking it way too seriously. Do you not have a
Wait,
team?
We're taking politics too
Like,
seriously?
I mean, you can't like everything about them. You're going to pick the best of the two.
Yeah.
Okay? So you got two on the field
I
playing.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree
You
with that.
got
Yeah.
to pick one of the two. Well, you're not going to love everything about the team that's out there. We don't love everything about Trump. We don't love everything about the other side.
Yeah.
Go vote.
Huskers have their
Figure it
flaws right
out.
now.
You may not feel great about it, but at least you did what you thought at the time was right.
That's actually a really great comment, Morgan.
Like,
and the reason
Boil
why-
it down to just one big thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and to your point, Morgan, the podcast that I listen to a lot, a majority of the time, people are always like, "You're not going to get a candidate that's 100%."
Yeah.
Ben
in
says
your
that
voting.
all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
You're going to get a candidate that's 80-20. So 80% is, you're going to be in line with. The 20%, you're going to be like, oh, man, I wish you would come at this a lot differently.
Yeah.
But that 80% is a lot more than that 20. So I'm going to go ahead and vote this way type of situation.
Yeah.
Think of
And that's
Robert
what I
Kennedy.
feel like.
Think of Robert Kennedy and Donald Trump on the same team.
Yeah.
Like those two dudes. When you're talking environmental and drill baby drill, I mean,
Yeah.
RFK they basically made a career.
Trump actually has said that. Yeah.
He has said drill, baby, drill.
No, he
That's
has. No, he.
that's like a rally cry for
what,
Trump.
What he has said is because people have
Oh.
literally directly questioned him about Kennedy.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And he's like, I love the guy. The only thing I don't agree with him is I need oil.
Yeah.
And I'm going in.
But
You
there
know?
are
Okay.
but just protecting the First Amendment, they both can galvanize, over that. And
right, yeah,
I
yeah.
think I don't know. I think it's pretty telling who's rallying in each corner here.
I agree with you, man.
So it's, go ahead.
Nope, keep
I
going.
was going to say, so it's interesting that you had this conversation with Dan, and I didn't even know that he had said maybe I wasn't going to vote. Well, you have tweeted that line for the last month, and I was like, are you effing kidding me? You're not going to vote? You, of all people, have these conversations at home. We talk about this. So is flabbergasted as you are that Dan may not vote, that's how I felt.
So
I was like,
wasn't-
how can we talk about this and you not vote?
Yeah, no, for sure. So I wasn't.
No, you
do you
tell
mean, no?
everybody if you voted or not, but
No, I'll go through it.
Okay.
So
but just the comparison, like that's how shocked I was when you were like, I don't know. I don't
no. So I felt like Dan was, pretty strong in his beliefs. So when he told me, he was like, "Man, I'm thinking about not voting." Like, I sympathized. Like, I could connect with that.
Yeah.
But I was surprised for sure because I thought he was going to be like, "Yeah, for sure, this is what I'm doing." And then when I heard that, I was like, "Okay, that's surprising to me, but I get it." And that was why I wanted to have this conversation. For me personally, and I'll give you my background. Like I'm not afraid of any of it. What was that noise?
I don't
you
know.
heard?
I think someo's here.
That's what I heard. I heard voices.
Go check.
You
Go
guys
check.
talk to that spirit lady. You guys,
So we send the
you
lady
guys
out
open
to
the
go
door.
check.
last week. What is it?
Oh, it's your
Oh, it's the
Satellite radio.
yeah.
Is it the fire rescue?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
should- we should turn that thing down. Sorry. So anyway, actually, I should wait for Morgan to get here because
she
she's-
posed the question.
Yeah, she's asking for it. So,
Well, my first take, and you guys can correct me, you guys aren't taking the line like, well, it's an electoral college and this is already majority Republican, so my vote doesn't count. Is that the line you guys are taking?
no. So, all right. So let me get into it now because Morgan's back in here. So we're all allowed to vote. We all have that right. We all have been given that privilege as American citizens, right? So anybody that you talk to who isn't an American, who isn't I call it a United Statesian, because that's where we live, right? This is where we live. Like
I
if
like
you say,
that. Yes, I like that.
I mean, if you say,
I know where you're getting at.
yeah, it's weird. It's weird for me.
Never heard that.
It's weird for me when you say American because, like, Mexico is an American, right?
Yeah, it's in technically.
It's South America.
South America. Yeah.
Are the Canadians an American? Because that's North America.
The North American.
I mean, I don't know.
Okay, so say it again. What'd you say it was?
A United Statesian.
I like that.
So I'm
Just start correcting people when they.
yeah.
United States.
So I'm a United Statesian
Okay.
that I get the privilege to vote. But what I also feel about that is, and I don't take it for granted. Like I do think it's important, but I also think that I'm given the choice. I can vote or I can't. I mean, I can do whatever I want to do.
Right.
And that's part of the thing. Like that's the First Amendment. Like our free speech, you can say things or you can't. It's up to you. You're allowed to.
And this isn't a popular take either. If people that say, well, you didn't vote, so you don't get a say, that's horse shit. You know, I go off of football, but I don't get to pick the football coach if we want to do a sports.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
You know, so like.
But can you still have a strong opinion with your friends?
Of course you can.
Okay.
And you can take the South Park route. They used to have really good political episodes, but they stopped doing that because it got burned last time.
Oh.
But I think it was a race between a douchebag, and a turd sandwich.
Stop.
So you could just say that, like, well, I didn't vote because the choices were a douchebag and a turd sandwich in my mind. So like, there's no difference there. So I mean, George Carlin, off-color comedian, rest in peace. He has a great bit over why he never voted or why he didn't vote for a long time.
Yep.
And it makes a lot of sense because he's a brilliant fucking guy.
Yep.
So it's not a popular take, but even if you didn't vote, you should still have a say.
So
and I think
ahead.
that comes at I think that comes at the federal level where he was coming from on that take.
Carlin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he states it's a big club and we ain't in it. And every time I talk to Ben, even about this election, I have a strong belief that the outcome's already, excuse me, already decided. It is. And you know, I told Ben that was the biggest part of the reason why I wasn't going to vote on the presidential level. On the local elections, I feel like there's still a fighting chance in there, and that your vote does actually matter. And I'll just give like one example, because I was thinking about this today after the conversation that I had with my wife a couple days ago about coming on here and talking about this. You know, at the local level, we can still elect individuals who we feel, I'm hoping, you know, giving off of what they present to us and the facts, as far as like our school and schooling for children.
Yeah.
That's a huge issue, especially for myself. I have 3 really young children that are in one's in elementary, the 2 aren't yet, but will be. And, you know, I feel like the education that is in our system or in our society currently is not appropriate. And I don't know how PC that we need to be on this program, but
not PC at all.
We're not PC at all. So
fuck PC.
Okay. All right.
I'll just put the little explicit, tag.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't want my children knowing, certain things, and or I don't feel like they're at age appropriate level to know. To be exposed.
Right,
to be exposed. Yeah. I'm not ignorant to the fact that they're going to grow up and be in society at one point, and they're going to experience things that are going to make them question a lot of stuff.
They're just a little young at this point.
That's correct.
Yeah. You still have to guard them.
So to go back to what Annie was talking about with the voting and things like that, and I have questions for Dan, and I don't want to make this thing last forever tonight, but for what I have to say is, so we've gone through this, the voting. I know it's my choice. I know I can do what I want to do, and I'm a smart enough dude. I'm looking at both sides. I'm thinking about all the things. I personally have not voted for a president for I think the last time I voted was 20.
Was
No,
it
it would have
16?
been no. Shit, it would have been. I don't know when it was. It was multiple
A
presidents
little
ago.
bit.
W.
I had a
Old W,
I had
Junior.
I had a motivation at that point in my life to be like, man, this what we're going through sucks, and this other guy I feel like is the right guy, and this is what we need to do. So I did that. So fast forward to today. Morgan has gone through the things that she's gone through, whatever, in her own mind and in her life, to feel like this is important and these are the things I want to do. And I've had a lot. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I've had a lot of pressure put on me. So, 4 years ago, I had a good amount of pressure put on me, and I did not vote. I didn't vote. I haven't voted in the last couple presidential elections. Why? The reason why, and this is what we're talking about today, is I didn't feel like I wanted to be tagged to either candidate. I just felt like, man,
Okay.
I like the decisions that we have here are such bad decisions.
Turd sandwich and douchebag.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take the outcome, and I'm gonna do the best I can with that outcome. But I don't want to be a part of either one. And so then here we are today. Tomorrow is the decision.
Yep.
This is what's going to happen.
Supposedly.
They're
True that.
they're
Yeah,
already
I
true
said
that.
that too.
Oh, it's gonna be weeks.
It's going to
We
be
won't
till
know.
January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
gonna be
okay. That's
wild.
democratic.
And then that could totally be right.
Yeah.
And so I have had, honestly, so much pressure in my own household to fucking send a vote that I'm like, all right, fine, I'll just go do it because I'm tired of being asked about it.
Yeah, send it.
I mean,
Full send.
I'll be honest with you. Like, that is what has happened in my house. So, and I do have a decision on one way or another. If folks listen to this podcast, they know. And we're talking about top of the ticket right now. We're not talking about, down
Yeah,
ballots.
You're talking about local education. There's a big one.
Yeah.
There's a big LB on.
So we're talking about the presidential election, right? I have a decision on one of the two. The one that I would prefer to be in office, and I've talked about this before, so this is no secret, is that I would prefer Donald Trump to be in office. But I just feel like when I check that box and I say, this is the one that I want, that's what I'm saying, is this the one that I want. But I don't actually believe that this is the one that I want. The one that I want is one that doesn't exist.
Yep.
But you have to pick one of the better ones.
You have to, and I get it.
So that's where I
But
stand.
I
I'm like-
just want to put that out there because there's probably a lot of folks that feel that way. Is that I have to check a box. I don't have to check a box.
That's
but
right.
But I'm checking a
No,
box.
but also let's bring up that we have a first-time voter in the house. So that was something that our daughter, she turned 19 and was really excited to vote and was like wondering if Dad was going to vote and was like, nope, I don't know. Yep, no, I don't know. Like, hey, is
Yeah.
Dad going to vote? Like, so she decided to register, go vote.
So let's chat about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the family dynamic. So what are you saying?
So I feel like as parents, we lead our children to do some things. And so I thought like we should be voting. So, and she chose to vote. She wanted to vote. So I was like, why are you not voting? How can we have this conversation in the house if you don't vote?
And it's literally gotten to the point where, so her, who has gotten to the age of voting, and then our son, who just turned 14 a couple of days ago, the two of them, almost every time I see them, and
They ask you.
and we're talking about it, they're like, did you vote? Have you voted?
He
Who are
just
you
asked
voting
you last
for?
night.
Yeah.
And I knew you voted, right?
Oh, I did, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Like,
it was almost reluctantly.
yes.
So-
Okay, but like you could have told him that you did, but you didn't. So I didn't say anything.
I just don't want to get into it. But
Yes.
it just I feel like what we're talking about in this podcast is just like it's the feeling and the picture of modern day America.
Yeah, I mean, you said something really good earlier, Morgan. You don't have to like every little thing, and you got to be able to compartmentalize. And it really comes down to just worser of two evils at some point, and sometimes. And I think that was a fantastic pressure that you put on him. Like, God damn it, we have a daughter that's coming of age. She still believes in democracy and choice, and she can help pave a path.
Yeah.
Dad, step up and vote. God damn it.
So Ben and I actually talked about this just the other day in that conversation.
Yeah.
And when you start to have that conversation and ask that question, when we vote, are we voting who's the one out of the two lesser of the evils? In my mind, there shouldn't be any evils.
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
I
get that.
That
where I'm at.
infuriates me.
Yeah.
But
Like
do you
no
not
other.
think every person has evil in them, and
It's
we
not
all
e- it's
sin?
not even that.
That's
It's
not the
even
point.
that,
That's not the
yeah.
point. That I know where you're going with that, and that's totally
Okay.
fine. And that could be a whole other conversation. But
Oh.
in this particular instance, like, this is the president of the United States. This individual represents America. He goes on the platform globally, and he represents us, he or she. So in my mind, I feel like, hey, we need to have the top prospect. And unfortunately, going back to Carlin, we're not in that club. Why isn't a Ben or an Andy or a Morgan just as, in the front running seat as these two individuals are? Well, it's because you guys don't have money. These guys are billionaires and
I
backed
get
by
that.
a lot of money,
Yeah.
all this
Yeah.
type of stuff. And it's ridiculous. And that leads into a whole other conversation
Yes, it
with
does.
the Senate and Congress and everything that's tied to
No
that.
problems with our unicameral in Nebraska, though.
Let me
That's just
tell
fine.
But
let me
even-
let me tell you something that I heard earlier today, because all of the election rhetoric is like obviously ramping up because we're the
Yeah.
day before the podcast. $3.5 billion has been spent on
Yeah, I heard about this.
between the two of them
Yep.
on advertising for elections. 3.5 billion. It
I mean, that is
Couldn't use that
asinine.
for
That is
couldn't use that
asinine.
for cancer
Dude.
research.
I mean,
How much
Yeah.
was it to build a wall?
and
Yeah.
here we are, the four of us sitting here.
Yep.
We are. It doesn't get more regular folks than us four
Yeah.
right here.
That's right.
We don't have any special jobs. We don't have any crazy things going on. Every single one of us, if we're honest in one way or another, is struggling with something. 3.5 billion is getting spent on that shit. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, what could be done with that money? Are you kidding me?
So much.
Yeah.
But go back to what you were saying, Dan, how, just, let's say, you could be in office or any of us. Okay, if it eliminate money, not everybody's going to love everything about Morgan either. Not all of my friends even love everything about Morgan. Some people like me, some people don't. Some people are like, oh, that girl's a bitch. Some people are like, oh, I like her. I'm going to get in her camp. I get the money thing, but like you're not, no one is going to like everything about everybody. Like
I mean,
it
it's
just,
true.
you know what I mean?
It's true, yeah,
like,
for sure.
Eliminate the money. Not everybody likes Ben. Not everybody likes Dan, Andy. Yeah. So like, let's say it wasn't about money and we could do a presidential race and no one had money. You're still not going to like the damn candidate up there.
I think a good point that you're kind of working towards there. I think a lot of people around, let's go back to a sports reference, because I can't get away from that shit.
You love it.
I don't think most people within the Alabama organization like Nick Saban, that guy's a prick. That guy's an asshole. He
really? See, I would think
admits
they
to
would
that.
love him.
Well, of course they love him because he wins.
Okay. All right.
He wins a lot of games.
Yeah.
And that's what we should be focused on. Is the guy a winner? Can Kamala lead? Is she a winner? And then if that's right, like, I'm not voting for someone that I think would be a good guy to have a beer with, or a guy that I think would be really fun to be at the pool hall with. No, I'm voting for a guy that I think could lead a country. Yeah. And there's things that I am really lacking in as far as leadership and all those type of things where I wouldn't vote for me to be president.
I know, that's
need
what I'm
to vote,
like,
Yeah, I need to
whoa.
vote for somebody else that I probably wouldn't get along with.
Do it. You got something.
I do. Yeah. No.
Go for it, bro.
Again, if you look at the candidates, and I know I gave us like Ben and Andy and Morgan as examples of, hey, why aren't Why don't you guys have a shot or sitting at the front seat of all this? You know, to me, it goes back to policies and what you're running on. Are you truly, that 80-20%, are you truly going to focus on what is dear to myself as an individual and what I'm looking for in a candidate? What do we got going on? We got bad inflation. We got high gas prices. We got high food prices. We got all these other things we got going on. And from a Kamala standpoint of view, I have seen nothing from her as far as what she plans to do. As far as her response is two things. One is, well, I haven't been in the seat. Biden's been in the seat. You know, what this economy has been putting out is because of Biden. You're vice president of the United States. You're second in command. You're telling me you have no say in any of that. Because if that's true, then to me, that makes perfect sense that seat or that position doesn't really need to be had.
Right. It's like run by
100%.
somebody else is what you're saying. Like, like
Totally agree
the,
with you.
the puppet people.
So
like,
now we got to vote for you
Yeah.
to get you into office to actually see what you can do for us. That's asinine to me. Let me see your score sheet. What have you voted on? What
Yeah.
have you done? And to be honest with you,
What votes has she gained?
yeah, what votes has she gained? And I go back to this, you know, what was it, 4 years ago? Tulsi Gabbard cut her at the knees
Yeah.
during the
that got
vice
buried.
president election. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
that got buried.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. She was taken out one swoop by Tulsi Gabbard. And then her polling just plummeted after that. And then even when she was vice president currently, her polling numbers weren't good. Nobody likes the woman. No offense, but you're not fit for the position. Now, you
Yeah.
get a woman that's in there. And I'll vote for a woman.
Yeah,
If
it's not
she's strong
the woman
enough
thing.
and she's got
Yeah.
a backbone and she can produce
I would
the
love
evidence,
to see it.
I'll do it.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not persuaded to just a man needing to be in a position of power.
Right. Yeah.
That white guys for Harris that
Oh my
campaign
God.
didn't work for.
Oh,
Let me
Remember when I shared that with you? I'm like, is this
Yeah.
real?
This
Yeah.
is fake.
let me throw this at you. So you're talking about all the things you're talking about, and this is what I've been thinking about the last couple of weeks. Is it really about her? Is it really
Probably
about?
not.
Is it really about him?
Probably not. But like, how do we change that?
But
does
no,
everybody just not vote?
So here's the thing: and this is where I've been trying to like kind of change my thinking a little bit. Are we actually voting for that individual, or are we voting for whatever the cause is?
Well, what's the cause?
Because the thing is that I think if we're all
The policies that they're
Okay.
both pushing out.
and I think if we're all honest with each other, that we would realize and we would come to a consensus of the fact that that person isn't actually the one.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
Okay, so
Yes.
so then how could you say Kamala sucks and Trump's great, you know, or Trump sucks and
Because
Kamala's
what
great?
they
Because-
are plotting for,
No,
what
but-
they're
no, but
saying
it's-
they're
it's-
doing.
It's their side,
I
is what
get
I'm
it.
saying. So
Yeah.
each one of their side is the one that's making the decisions. You know, ultimately, the president has a lot of power.
Of course.
executive decision.
In one way or
They got
another, yeah,
codes.
can do some pretty crazy shit. But a lot of it can be, you know, reversed or controlled or whatever. But in the end, are we actually deciding on Kamala and Trump?
Probably not.
Or are we deciding on this direction or that direction, which neither one of them
Or great
actually
direction.
has like a major effect on? Like it's happening one way or another, one of those two. And so, and the reason I asked that question is because what has resonated with me is that we have college kids. And we talk to our college kids, like Morgan said, you know, and they're giving me shit about voting. Like, you better be voting, you know, blah, 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 whatever. But I'm talking to them about school and the things that they're hearing. And one of my daughters said to me, these people don't care about Kamala. All they care about is the democratic principles, and this is what they want to see moved forward. So how many of us, I got to ask people, like, how many of us are getting caught up in the one individual as opposed to the actual principles that are going to
That's good.
happen either way.
Yeah, I think that's true. But when you go vote, like it says Republican Party or Democratic Party under their name, doesn't it?
It says
Yes.
that, but what are you getting at?
I'm just saying. So it's the name, and then you're voting for like that and their policies. So to your point, I think it's the big picture. I don't think it's just one person.
Well, it's why there should be primaries, and there used to always be.
Oh gosh, don't get me started.
You're voting for the guy or the woman that you believe can push these policies through on that party's platform the best. Okay, so you are voting for an individual. You really are.
You think in the primaries?
If you follow the democratic system, which we always did up until this time around, where someone was just put there late in the game, that's where you get that vetting system. So you actually are voting on an individual and what they can do within that party. You're right. There's some heavy guardrails here. But Morgan, you're right.
So you think it got lost just this year?
Well,
like for this?
I'm talking about the Democrats didn't have a primary. They just shuffled somebody in there after somebody had a bad debate.
Yes, I agree with that. I just didn't know.
They didn't get to decide. That party didn't get to decide. It's like if you actually talk to Bernie Sanders right now, his freaking head would explode.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so far off.
Here's how I feel about it. You know, we talk about all the things that we just said, and the individual that's going to have the influence.
Mm-hmm.
When Dan and I had this conversation, earlier last week, and he said, I'm going to vote, but I'm not interested in the presidential election. I'm interested in the down ballot.
Sure.
That's where the individuals are actually making the difference.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, and that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, and we're going to run out of time. Again, I keep saying this, but the down ballot local individuals, how do you, as a voter, you need to make sure, and I'm not good at this, you need to make sure that you're figuring out who these local individuals are, because that's where the rubber's really hitting the road.
Yeah.
Because at the top of the ballot, it's, these guys we're just voting in figureheads. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, but I think you need to give yourself some credit because you really did a lot of research on the down ballot. And
I personally didn't do a ton of research.
I feel like you said that you wanted to really know, to have a voice, and you did research.
I definitely looked through it.
So it was,
but I don't think most people do.
Right. No, I agree with that.
I want Dan to talk about, when you say, I'm more interested in the down ballot vote than the top of the ballot.
Well, are you talking about initiatives? Like, there's some big LBs on Nebraska's ballot this year.
Yeah.
Or you mean like
there's abortion.
Yeah.
There's public education.
Right.
439.
And 434.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So so are you more interested in people like Tony Vargas, or are you more interested in initiatives like 434?
Oh, good question.
But you do feel it's important to vote on all of this at the local level.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, the 434 and I think what's the other one?
439.
439 is the biggest one, especially in our household right now. And what we've kind of really focused on and what we tend to vote on or for. So as far as the individuals themselves, truth be told, after this was actually going to spark, I was hoping it was going to spark the fire that I needed to go home and actually prepare for what I am going to vote for tomorrow.
Okay.
And to your question, and I'll be blatantly honest, I think it's the 434, which is no against the abortion.
Late term stuff.
Yeah, that I will be voting on for sure, and I'll be voting to push that forward. I don't want abortion. That again, that goes back into my own personal opinion and my values and how I was raised in our family household and all that good stuff. So, but to your question, focusing on those that are on the ballot, that's where I think that we actually have a voice and we can do something about.
Yeah, and so those are the it took an elected official to write that bill up
Right.
and get it sent there. So you are voting on people that are doing, the public's bidding.
Yep.
And I
So-
feel like we've talked about this, right? Didn't we release a podcast a few weeks ago about how do you find the information? And I think we're still there. Like it's really hard to get correct information on all the candidates because
is,
again,
yeah.
the commercials
'Cause
are
there's
just full of shit.
$3.5 billion advertising
Hey, and I might
dollars.
change my. I may not be voting for Deb. I don't know. We'll just see.
Do you guys ever notice actually when you go in and you vote, like how the question is worded?
Okay, right? Like you were saying that this
so-
could
It
be
is so
funky.
frustrating.
Here's
Like
how-
straight
here's-
up,
here's
are
how
you
my-
for abortion or not? No, I am not. Done. Move on.
Here's how my process worked this year. So just to kind of, again, this is what we're talking about. So I go in the office. I need to change my address, whatever. I change my address. And then they give me a ballot. And the lady's like, oh, you want to do this right now? And I was like, no, I don't want to do this right now. Like the office was full, whatever. She was like, we can take this with you and you can mail it back in. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Do it. So she sets it all up, seals the envelope, sends it with me. I head out. I get back to my office a couple of days later, and I open it up and I look at it and I read through the things. And on those particular pieces, which you're talking about, like the 434, the 439, whatever, all the things that happen in every single state all across the country, I'm reading it and I'm like, fairly, like I understand a good amount of things, and I'm reading this thing and I'm confused as fuck.
If he's confused,
Yeah.
I'm going to be so
Yeah.
confused.
It is extremely frustrating.
Like I said to Morgan, I was like, when you go in to vote and you read these two initiatives, you're going to be like, holy shit, I don't know
I
what
was
the
like,
hell's
oh
going
no,
on.
I'm scared.
And it almost felt to me like, and it was it's all this legal speak. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yep.
Sure.
Like they just overcomplicate this bullshit. And I read it and I checked the way that I understood it, but it just makes me think like how many people don't like just are totally confused by this thing.
Couldn't we
Just
put
check
in
the box.
parentheses
And
like
there's-
what it really means?
When we've had a podcast over that too, just the bullshit language that's being used.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
what did you call
Just
it?
talk normal.
It's kind of like double speak, corporate speak or whatever.
Corporate, 100%. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I want to get on my soapbox just a little bit here for my day job.
Yep.
I work for News Channel Nebraska, and I help out a lot with the social media stuff, the YouTube channel. For about a week now, one reporter has been assigned to take an initiative and break it down, put it in layman's terms. So every day,
Nice.
and so if you go back and watch all the last 5 or 6 full broadcasts on YouTube and just fast forward to the initiative breakdown, like what you're saying, how do you learn about this stuff? How do you, it should go back to journalism and like
Absolutely.
these are bipartisan. Like we don't care. Like I always tell people, News Channel Nebraska is a pretty good news source because we piss everybody off. I mean, everybody is mad at us all the time.
Why?
Well, because we're not towing anyone's line.
Yeah, it's just the
You
par
know,
for the course.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any corporate sponsors. We barely have any sponsorships to begin with at all.
The way it should be.
Yeah, we're an independent little news organization, kind of getting by.
I just
Okay.
want I just want the news to give me the facts and then let me decide my decision on things. That's
Absolutely.
it. That's it. I don't want it one way and I don't want it the other. I don't want it right leaning and I don't want it left leaning. Just get it straight down. What are the facts? And then I'll decide. That's it.
So if the news doesn't give you just the facts, if they're sharing with you something that seems like it's slighted or whatever, what do you think is the reason for why they're doing that?
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Yep. No. And Ben brings this up all the time, especially between him and I or on the quote unquote guy thread. It's money. Money is the driving factor.
Every single
in,
damn time.
Yeah, it's sickening. I think you made a comment about NPR the other day.
Yeah.
And how you've noticed, dear God, they have pushed Kamala so hard on NPR that it's just astounding. And for me, I told him, I was like, look, NPR has been going left for a very long time. And, I resort to my news outlets as far as like certain podcasts and trying to get information from them and all that good stuff. Are they 100% on it all the time? No. In fact, they'll come out and be the first to admit we were wrong. I'm sorry. I think Sean Ryan did that the other day.
He did. Yes, he
you know,
did.
and good for him. Like he
Alex
owned up to
Jones.
it. Alex Jones,
man.
yeah. A lot of these individuals, and it's okay. They're human.
Yeah.
They're human. They make mistakes, and I get it because I'm human and I make mistakes. But at the end of the day, I just want the facts and let me make that decision.
And the differentiator, what you're talking about, is when that human comes back and says, "Dude, I made a mistake," and they broadcast it.
What was that? What was the mistake on? Is it quick to talk about? Or no?
There's a bunch of them.
For Sean Ryan. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know.
Well, Sean Ryan had someone on his podcast made a comment about a specific thing that they recorded as truth.
Oh, okay.
And then afterwards, he came back out later and was like, "Whoa, we
Like
figured out."
they
Yeah.
fact checked
And
it
he
or
was
whatever.
He was pissed too.
So good,
He was
yeah,
pissed.
Okay.
good for him. But
Yeah.
and that's how this is supposed to work, man.
Yeah, the only-
Like,
That's
Right.
free
When you're
speech, man.
wrong,
yeah,
you admit you're wrong.
You're talking about what you believe, and then if you find out that what you believed was wrong, if you're willing to admit it, then boom, you admit it, and then people understand that, and then they have trust in you.
But
you
the
know,
only way you're going to find out if you're wrong is if you allow free speech, the other
100%,
side to talk.
yeah.
You're like,
And
that's,
listen.
that's also a responsibility on you and me and everybody else. Like, listen to your favorite podcast. They say this. Now there's a responsibility on you
Yeah.
to like maybe use some critical thinking.
Yeah.
Is that bullshit? Does that
Yep.
make sense?
Yep.
Can you
Right.
really do that?
Right.
Is
Is it
that
for
really-
entertainment purposes?
Yeah, and don't and whatever. Don't let them just get off, off easy. But there's a responsibility on you to sift through the shit, no matter what. No matter if it's CNN, Joe Rogan, whatever. Like, God damn it, take some responsibility, figure it out.
So Dan, what I want to know is it worth the vote?
I was just thinking, are you gonna vote?
Dun, dun, dun.
No, I'm not asking if you're gonna vote,
Oh,
but
okay,
you could,
I am.
she is.
Oh, sorry.
What I'm asking
Is it worth it?
is it worth
I
the
see.
vote?
Okay.
Are we speaking from a presidential point of view, or just from
All the above. Tell me all of them.
for the presidential? I don't think so. Just with a lot of research and listening to a lot of things out there, it just doesn't seem like it is from the presidential side of things. And even from even when you go to vote for your congressman or House representatives, again, look at who's backing them.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many text messages and phone calls that I have received alone in this election of people, hey, donate $5 here, donate this, donate that.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
You just read off that $3.5 billion have gone in just to get the vote out. Well, I don't want to get that $5. That $5 is going to buy me my eggs.
What are we bitching about the amount of money that we're spending in Ukraine and wherever else, and we're going to spend $3.5 billion on our freaking election?
You guys, that's freedom at its finest. That is private entities backing their guy to get their shit pushed through. That is capitalism. You don't get to tell Pfizer how to spend their money.
You don't get to tell them. You're right about that.
Yeah.
You don't get to tell them. But the fact is, the shit that we want to do, that we need to do, and we're spending this money on that, on freaking TV advertisements, 3.5. I mean,
Yeah.
and carry on.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll just answer the question from the government standpoint of view, i.e., the presidential Congress, House of Representatives. I don't think it matters. I truly don't. From a local standpoint of view, I do. I think it really does matter. And I'll be voting on the down ballot, for my local representatives.
And I'll tell you, and let's each close this out by speaking about our own voting experience. So for me, I got that ballot. I got home. I looked through all the things. I read through them. I did all the things. I decided on who I'm going to vote for president. We already talked about this. I for us in our own life and our decision in our business, Donald Trump's a better decision. Whether I like that or not, it is what it is. and I moved down the ballot, and I saw a few of them that I had no clue what the difference was in those. Mm-hmm. So whether that's my fault or it's anybody else's fault, I have no clue. So I'm not checking those boxes. I'm checking the boxes on the one that I know. Mm-hmm. And that's how my vote went.
Is that for like the judges and attorneys, like the DAs?
There was all kinds of things like that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was all kinds of them.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that is how that's going to go for me tomorrow. I think I will go in and maybe fill in 2 bubbles, if that. Because I just don't know enough, and I'm not just guessing.
Well, I think that's
I'm not picking the C answer, if that makes sense.
And
you know,
to Andy's comment earlier, is that on us?
I think probably
We should own that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we've talked about this. I didn't do enough research on all of that, and then it goes back to like, where do you find it? Is it true? It's just like so complicated.
Yeah, and when I think about that as myself, like I think about, okay, is it my fault or is it the candidate's fault or whatever? But then I also, so then I say, okay, well, no, they didn't tell me enough about them. But then I think about what we just talked about, the 3.5 bill, and I'm like, well, I don't want them spending that money to make sure I know.
Right.
Yeah, you're like,
If they did it a little more tastefully or to my taste, I might like that.
Yeah, so that tells me that it's on me.
Yeah.
That I should be figuring that out. And it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of effort. Yeah. And how many American citizens are spending the time to figure out what is the real story
they're not
behind those individuals?
I do not believe they are.
Of course they're not, because we aren't. Like
Right.
we are figuring out some of those, but not all of them.
Right.
And so it's on us. It is on us. When it comes down to it.
Yeah.
Does that have a ripple effect to your children, do you think?
100% does, man. I mean,
Yeah.
how does it not? I mean, those decisions that we're making are going to have effects on whatever their futures look like, and then whatever decisions they get to make.
I don't want you guys to beat yourselves up too much, because you should feel just fine leaving a box unchecked or a bubble unfilled in.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
if you
I'm
don't
not
know
losing
what
any
county
sleep over
road
it.
maintainer guy is the best, stay out of it. Let the people that really care about who's going to be maintaining the country roads, let those guys figure that out.
And also what was kind of weird was a lot of the things the choices that we had was just like one name.
Yeah, that is a little fishy. But
It was like, this person's getting it no matter what.
No, but then it says you can vote up to 3, and then there's 3 on the ballot, and it's like,
it depends,
what?
It depends on the category. So there was a bunch of categories where it was like there was literally one person.
Oh, really? So
that
I'll
I could
see that.
check.
Okay.
and now I'll try and put a button.
Absolutely,
on here.
yeah.
I'm going to pin in it. I want to backtrack a little bit when I said you shouldn't get to say what Pfizer does with their money. I don't think pharmaceutical companies should get to advertise, but then I think twice about it. God damn it, this is America. This is capitalism. If we can't deal with Zepic telling me I need to do this to be, I don't like the ways they go about it, but that also should be a tell. Like, well, they're desperately trying to shove this down my throat. Once again, you should take responsibility for yourself. So if I'm going to like capitalism and I'm going to say, fuck yeah, I'm going to drink an real American beer right now. Yeah. I got to, fuck yeah. I got to be okay with some other things too. It's the same with free speech. Yeah. So if, I like what this guy's saying. I don't like what she's saying. I like what you got to take it all and it's on you. Like, right? I think that's where we're really, we've kind of come around to here.
Yeah.
Go full circle. So
was that a pun, Andy?
What's that?
Shove it down my throat.
Yeah, I'm the American. I don't have to do that because this is damn good beer.
Ozempic, and I was like,
This is the wrong podcast.
I'm like, oh, okay. All right.
I thought that was a shot. No, I really don't know much about it, so I'm not voting on that.
That's actually funny. Man,
Well, and with that,
so in the end,
wait. So Andy, have you voted yet?
No.
You're going tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We didn't ask, so yeah.
So you're tomorrow.
Yeah.
DanO?
I am
DanO's tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
And Ben's is
tomorrow.
in.
Yeah, I did a mail in.
Well, because you brought it home and you looked at it. I think that's great.
And that's an interesting.
But that's what I'm saying. You need to give yourself more credit. Like
So
literally,
I went
you
online,
researched some stuff,
and I looked it up, and you can look up and you can see like did it get counted or not.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
Because that's where I was going to go.
So you're already
I
in
think
there?
that's so interesting.
So you're already
Yeah.
in there?
Well, I mean, I looked and it said I was counted. So
Oh,
what do
shit.
you do? You believe it. You got to believe it, right? I mean, what else? What's your other
I mean,
choice?
unless the ballot box like blew up. I mean, I've never seen that,
lit-
but
lit
Why
on
don't we
fire.
have receipts? You know what I mean?
oh, like printed receipt. It's your sticker.
You walk out there and it says, "Oh, I voted for
I
Trump or
voted.
Kamala."
No, it's like I voted, and you're like dash 562.
think about that for just a hot second. I apologize, but why isn't there receipts on our voting? Like voting has been around for a very long time, and yet it still feels like we're in a caveman situation.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're trying to push the electronic, but that doesn't seem to be accurate. You see all these reports on that, and I would just like a peace of mind. Hey, if you're going to do an audit and I have the receipt and you call me up and I bring in the receipt and it doesn't match, I would think that would be a clear case of voter fraud or something, integrity, something happening there.
There's a lot of things that we would think would be
Voter
clear.
interference. Maybe we could come back with just a straight up voter interference. Here in a couple of weeks. Type of episode.
Oh, that's totally going to be needed. I think I already have 3 on the list.
Oh boy. All right. Okay.
This next week and
Oh,
obviously
God.
tomorrow. This podcast will come out tomorrow. It's going to come out on the morning, so folks will be listening. Hopefully, you're prepped to vote.
I wonder if it's going to make people vote or not.
I'm on pins and
this
needles. I'm on pins and needles.
Our podcast is not going to influence.
Oh, hell yeah, it is.
No,
To the common folk.
I like that. I like where she's
Let's go. Come
Yeah,
on.
let's go.
but the reality is that this is real life people, regular common folk.
Yeah.
That's why Dan's in here.
Yep.
Just thinking about
Oh.
what effect does my vote actually have?
Yeah.
What can I make a difference? And I think that's the question that everyone has in their mind. Can they make a difference? And
Ben made a difference.
You'd be surprised.
man,
You'd be surprised. Just a little ripple.
again, we're talking about top line ballot. Can you make a difference?
At least you're still awarded or
He's not
afforded
convinced.
the option to feel like you did.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
okay, so real question. Tomorrow, or let's say the 6th, and they have all the polls coming in and all the votes and all this, and they have a quote-unquote projected winner, and it's your candidate, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to make you feel like you did your due diligence, like you did your job, you're American, you're patriotic?
So
dude?
back to what we got to at the beginning of this podcast when you said you had voted and then afterwards you felt like you didn't feel like you really accomplished anything. I mean, you said that at the beginning of this podcast. The answer to your question that you just asked me is no. I mean, if Donald Trump gets elected tomorrow and I see that and it's boom, it's done, do I feel like I accomplished anything? Not really, man. Like, I mean, I feel like I got the dude in who I think will be better for my own family situation and my business situation and those kinds of things. Like, I feel like that's going to be better, but I don't know for sure. And also, there's a lot of things that he does that, like, I feel really bad about, and that goes both ways. So it's just one of those situations you get stuck in the middle of that you're just like, what am I going to
There's
do?
going to be some uncertainty there.
Yeah. What am I going to do?
I mean, I like how he's not pro-war. I think it's going to affect more than just you and your family. Yeah. I think the fact that he wants to pull troops out of Ukraine, Middle East, all the shit. That was a very short little window there. His 4 years, we weren't involved in wars.
Yep.
And that out of our 250 years, how many years? It was like 230 we were in the war, and 4 of them weren't with Trump. Yep. So if you care for human life, other humans, brown, white, yellow,
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I didn't mean to get that deep, but
Yeah.
when you were saying, I think I'm just impacting my family or what's, no, it's much more than
bigger.
that. It's
Yeah.
much more than that.
Yeah.
So don't get lost. Don't belittle yourself or your vote. That's what they want you to do. And it really is. They want to beat you guys down, beat us down to make us think that it doesn't matter, so we don't got to vote anyway.
Right.
Was that Schwab asshole?
Yeah.
In the future, you won't even have to vote
Yeah.
because we'll have machines that will tell you who you're going to vote for.
Oh
Shut
my
the
God.
fuck up. This is
We
America.
don't want that.
We don't want that. I'm drinking
Hell
real
no.
American beer.
Yeah, buddy.
So now I'll get off my box.
Can
That's
we
a good- that's a
do
good
a shot,
perspective.
please?
No,
Yeah.
Andy, that's obviously. I mean, honestly,
Here we go. Let's
that's
do
a,
it.
That's a good perspective.
Well, let's shoot. I mean, we
is.
got to do
And
a shot.
I
Come
appreciate
on.
you saying that.
Is that Cardinal?
Yes, it is.
That is good.
Hey, this was made for Marines.
Oh man,
This
that's
is-
such a good beer.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
Right there.
Cardinal Pale Ale.
Little Nebraska Brewing Company.
We're so
Heck
fucking
yeah.
patriotic. I
yes,
mean,
we are.
look at I got blue on. You got blue on. You got camo. Hello.
Here, and
That
that
has a flag hat. Like shit.
that's one of the things that folks need to leave this podcast with is that we are 100% patriotic.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about Donald Trump or
you
Kamala
go.
Harris
Amen.
or all these people. This is our country, and we want to run this thing. We want to be comfortable. We want to raise our families. We want to have success and be comfortable with each other and love our neighbors and do all these kinds of things. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. That's what the majority of the common folk want to do.
Keep the dream alive.
And these motherfuckers are trying to bring it down every single
No, we're
day.
not letting them.
Yeah, fuck them.
Fuck 'em.
Let's do it.
So look at all right.
So grab your and let's
So
go.
here we go, right here in the middle of the podcast table. What is this? This is an American flag with our Farm Focus logo on it. We're about to pop this thing open. DanO, you ever seen this thing? Right
I have
here?
not. This is the first
What?
time.
Oh,
This is the
shoot.
first time for
I
I
DanO.
I
swear.
just enjoy this table itself. I mean, if this
Pretty
is going to
awesome.
raise and there's something that's going to be in it, I'm going to be.
You
My
know,
mind's going to be blown.
you know what's going on here. So let me
Hulk Hogan's going to pop out.
Oh. Oh, wow. We're
let
not
me
that
open this
special.
up real quick. Here we go. All right, so hidden down in the little chamber,
That's good.
some Soldier Valley whiskey, some Soldier Valley
Talking about
vodka.
Patriotic.
Again, man,
go.
100%. So DanO's getting a handle bend copper mug. Take that.
Special.
That's what
O'Neill,
you need.
Nebraska.
Get that.
Shout out.
Get that one right there. Handle bend. Those boys, good folks. We
All
had
right,
we had a
so what do you
podcast with
want?
them not too long ago.
Bourbon or a vodka?
I will take the bourbon.
Do I pour it for him? Is
Yeah,
that like
yeah, you
courtesy
definitely do.
or do
Yeah,
you pour
yeah.
it for yourself?
No, you pour it. You pour it.
We don't have ice. So,
We got a beer
I-
backer.
I-
We got a little beer
no,
backer.
but I'm
We'll
just
be
saying
all right.
I was going to fill this all the way up for Dan, but he does have to
No,
drive
geez.
home. Wait, I don't know how much to
So
pour.
this is a cool little shot glass here.
Ooh, I think we need to switch. I give that one too much.
The bourbon shot. What are you doing? What are you looking
Oh,
for?
this is yours.
From Soldier Valley.
Actually, I think I need to give you some more, Dan.
Yeah, so I was going to just say pour it in there and then pour it in my.
Okay, because you noticed that I didn't
wanna
know
add
what
it?
I
you're
was
fine.
doing.
Do you wanna
yeah,
add it?
that's
Yeah.
fine.
No, he's
you
already
go.
something in
What are
there.
you doing?
Okay.
All right.
Were you doing a shout out for
Shot and a half.
Soldier Valley?
So it's drink time, yeah, for Soldier Valley. So this is to America, right?
America.
I mean, we're here. This is the voting podcast.
Woo!
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
If you want to vote, if you don't want to vote, I mean, it's cool. It's cool either way.
Yep.
We like you
Make
either
your
way.
decision. That's the reason why we're Americans. You don't have to, and you can. You have the choice, right? So here we go. Let's
Cheers.
take a quick shot.
USA.
Cheers, guys.
One time.
Ooh, Dan, that was a big one, huh, for you?
I haven't had any of that Soldier Valley bourbon for a while. It's
That's
good.
good.
Wow. Oh, every time it's
pretty
so
smooth.
easy.
It's
Yeah,
pretty smooth.
it is.
It is.
It's a good one.
They got your 6.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate it.
100%, brother.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just like Ben said, I'm just a common folk, and this is what this podcast is all about, and I really do appreciate it, guys.
Did we make you nervous?
You nailed it.
I was super nervous. Yep. I was super
No.
nervous. I told Ben, I was like, I'm a little nervous, and this is my first time.
No, you nailed it, man. You're 100% the common folk, and that's why we got you
right.
here.
Andy
so.
lightened the mood with the real American
Yeah.
beer.
Yeah.
Man,
Thank you
that
for the
was
beer.
Thank
That
you.
too.
It's actually really good. And
Really
not
is.
only that, it'll be a really good summer beer.
Yes, I believe so.
So it's still in stock. Like,
There's only a couple 12 packs left at the grocery store.
oh shit!
Hulk-
I think
Hulk
I need to go
Hogan,
get those
baby.
tonight for tomorrow.
Hulk Hogan forever. Who doesn't like Hulk Hogan? I mean, get out of
Right?
here. Yeah.
All through the years. What? Yeah, no, you like him.
What do you mean?
I mean, I know
think-
what side doesn't like Hulk Hogan now.
I think he's super iconic, especially for my time era. I
How
know
can you- how can
we're
you not
all
like
pretty
the dude,
close.
right?
What was his thing? Like "Rawr," that thing? What did he say? Something?
Brother.
Okay, do it. Somebody do it. Send us off with that. Ben,
I mean, I don't have one. He does say brother a lot.
He does.
You better get out there and vote, brother, because I'm telling you right now, if you want to save this country,
yeah.
That was great. That was great.
Andy nailed it.
Yeah.
Boom.
All right.
Peace.
We out. You guys got anything else?
No.
All right. Later.